Hi. Welcome back. I'm Susan B Lochocki, running for President of the United States as a write-in, and this is my Matter Studio. This is part 3 of Talk Tuesday, and I'm dealing with crime and police and all of that. Right now I'm going to talk to you about guns and my plans for guns and how I feel about them and so on and so forth. I know that a lot of people have this as an issue. Anyway, sorry that it got cut off, the last video. I ran out of memory, as you know. I don't know. I keep deleting things and I still don't have memory. So, I'm sorry. I'm working on it. I'm working on this memory issue. But what can I say? All right. So, as I just want to finish a little bit the last video, and as you know, some men who are police officers probably also can't pass a certain physical and strength endurance test either. So we want a fit police force, and if you are not fit, then maybe we don't send you out, or maybe you work in some sort of other capacity or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe it's just not the job for you anymore, you know. Some jobs are meant for younger people. Some jobs are meant for older people, you know. So instead of fighting our natural human tendencies, let's try to live within the rules that nature provided for us, you know. There's a certain amount of things that have to be done when you're young and a certain amount of things that have to be done when you're old. And you can't really mix the two. You can try, you know, but usually we don't have to force the issue, you know. Let's be a little more normal and natural. All right. So guns is the topic for this video. I do know how to use a gun. I've shot guns in my childhood. I understand that people want them, and I understand why our founding fathers suggested that it be a right that we have them. Now for me, as a citizen owning a gun, it is your citizen right, and I feel that that's important. It's personal property, so of course you can have one. You know, we don't need a separate amendment or a separate notice stating that you can have one, because it's personal property. So yes, you can have, in my opinion, guns. I say plural guns. I don't know why somebody would have more than one, although I suppose there might be something that you use for hunting and something that you use for carrying around with you. I don't know if any of you remember, there's a Star Trek. You know, I loved Star Trek. They touched on so many important issues. It was great. But there's one where they go back, they land back on Earth, but like somehow a parallel universe sort of experience, where it's not the Earth that we're living on, but an Earth that's happening someplace else. And you know, they go back in time, I believe it's like 1940s, and guns are legal everywhere, exposed guns, and, you know, you have people, you know, again, walking around with military weapons on the streets, and it's a little bit, now that I think about it, actually, it's a little bit like what we're experiencing now, where people are, you know, having a gun in their car and somebody cuts them off and they decide that they're unhappy and that road rage comes out and they shoot them, you know, sometimes killing them. So actually, now that I think about it, you know, it's a little bit coming true what we saw in Star Trek, you know, 60 years ago, whenever that came out. You know, it's older than me. So yeah, civilians can have certain guns, but not military weapons. That I do draw a line. I do have my limits. Self-defense is one thing. Defending personal property is one thing, but not military weapons. No, that just doesn't work for me. No. What I will say is that if you are in the military, like as a reserve or something, then you may have a military weapon at your home. But you don't, that's not the one you carry around with. That's not the one you go hunting for deer with. That's the one that's at home as a military officer, and you use it when you go to military and when you come home from military, and if you're needed in military, and it's at your home, but it's not for your personal use. So, yes. And I want to talk about, So, those are sort of, in civilian life, how military and non-military weapons are used. I mean, weapons in general are military anyways in nature. And now we get to my next part. But first I'm going to take a sip of water. So, weapons. In general, guns. Or any weapon. Well, guns. So, my plan is guns are military, they're weapons, and they do not belong in a mom and pop shop that's out for profit. Because the mom and pop shops sometimes get their hands on military weapons and they sell them. And this is not acceptable. And then also weapons at, you know, your local grocery store or at your local sporting goods store. Again, they're weapons. Let's not kid ourselves, they're weapons. So I want weapons to not be sold for profit. If people want to purchase them, they can, but they do it through the military. We don't charge a profit price, we charge reasonable prices, and you can buy them there. With that said, we're closing, in my opinion, I would like to close all the mom and pop testing centers where you go to do shooting practices. Again, shooting and weapons should not be for profit. They kill people and kill things. So, you know, no. This is all military stuff. It belongs on the military bases, and I want people to go to the military base and do free practicing, target practice, and this is obligatory if you are a gun owner. Now, I believe the gun owning records are there for us. Hopefully, all guns are registered. If they're not, please register them. I don't want to take your guns away, but if we do find you with guns that are not registered, that's a problem. So I want you to have your rights as well. And that means going to target practice on a military base, on a monthly basis, to make sure that you know how to use your weapon, all of them. You bring them all, you test them all out, people watch, we make sure that you know what you're doing. It's all free on a military base. So, with all of that said, naturally, one of the people who will be watching will be someone with a psychological degree of some sort, to make sure that people with guns are psychologically okay to keep them, you know, to have them. If you have problems, emotional problems, depression, whatever, it's not the time to have a gun. What we could maybe contemplate is taking guns away for a time, and then if you prove that you're healthy again mentally, then you can have your guns back too. That could be also a possibility. And that might stop a lot of the school shootings and mall shootings and road rage shootings and things like that. As you know, my program is all-encompassing, so it's hard to take one piece from out, because I'm working on the whole citizen, the whole U.S. citizen, making them a whole person who is happy, satisfied, and healthy. So, yeah, because we do need to make sure that everybody has a right to their life, and it's nobody's right to take your life away except for you, of course. But and that's for my last week's topic on assisted suicide. But yeah, it's not your right to take somebody's life. Period. So, guns, what else can I say about them? I think it's clear where I stand. I'm fine with guns. I'm undecided about the concealed and not concealed weapon idea. I have to think about that a little bit more. I do think that guns should be standardized in all states. This should not be something that is, in one state okay and in another state not. Because we can so easily cross state lines. In that way, we're one country, So, and these are weapons. They need to be, some things need to be standardized, and that's one of them. Yeah. So, I don't know what else I can say. I'm not going to take them away. I'm just going to change how we use them and keep them better, keep you safe, keep all people safe. Yeah. All right. So part 4 is coming up. Bye.